What's up, everybody? We are in a new month. We're in the month of June, end of June, actually. And I want to give you guys the market update from the Don Wenner team, brokered by eXp Realty. Let's get into it. I've been doing these for now over 2 years. And the one thing I just wanted to reiterate here, as you're starting to see the market change, as you're starting to see things happening, the news is always out there. I mean, we always talked about it before. They write headlines to really terrify instead of clarify. But I'm really here. We are really here to help you and give you advice and really give you expert advice. And that's the biggest thing. Is it always perfect advice? No. But I can guarantee you this is true expert advice coming to you, what the actual market is doing. I'm live here in Allentown, Pennsylvania, in the Lehigh Valley, a little bit north of Philadelphia. But first thing I'm going to do is go over kind of the national trends are, go into our local market for all of our local residents and clients. But also just let you know, hey, we're here to give you expert advice. So the number one question right now that I'm getting from everywhere is the market going to crash? Are housing market correction? Well, I mean, let's look at what the actual definition is of a housing correction. So a correction is a decline of 10% or greater in the price of a security, asset, or financial market, according to Investopedia. You guys know, because you've seen my market updates over the last several months, if not years, that home price forecasts are not going down. In fact, they are going up. Again, home prices have been going up and they're continuing to go up. And not only that, for the rest of 2022, you can see here that on average, people are saying about 7 to 8%. I've seen it as low as about 5 to 6% as far as price appreciation goes, but prices are still going up. So in short, no, we are not in a housing crash. No, we are not in a decline. It is still a seller's market. Not to say that there's still some buyer scarcity out there, not to say that the inventory is slightly rising out there. I'm going to show you a bunch of different market indicators to show you things, but at the same time, we are not in a decline. Prices are still going up. We are still in a very healthy seller market. But the housing market is at a turning point, meaning that we are starting to see signs of a new direction. But the ball is still in the seller's courts, as you see here. This came right from the chief economist over at Realtor.com, and it is. And let me get into the stats here. So the first one I always want to show you is what is happening with showings. What is going on with showings of homes? You can see here 2022, which is in orange here, slightly below, but not that much from 2021. 2020 was extremely high because we were just coming out of the pandemic. You see here, things were flatlined during the pandemic in 2020. Then demand just went through the roof. As you saw, very strong market in 2020, 2021. But 2022 is really not that far behind the pace, and sometimes even was above and or right with the market of 2021. So showings are still there. Showings are still happening. And you can actually see here on a chart of what exactly this looks like. So really pre-pandemic, you can see here prior to 2020, you can see really where all the showings were in the monthly. And then when the pandemic happened, just how much showings have skyrocketed. You saw it on the other chart. This one makes it a little bit more clear to see. And then you can start to see a slight decline, yet we're still pretty high for 2022. So I always equate this to, if you're driving down, hopefully you're not, but you're driving down a highway going 180 miles an hour, and you back that thing down to 65, 70 miles an hour where the speed limit is, well, guess what? Yeah, you're going to feel a big shift, but things are still moving. They are absolutely still moving. And that's kind of how I continue to equate this market. As things do shift and do start to turn, it's going to feel a little bit more, but it's because of how much activity there was and showings there were during that time. Also, existing home sales, you can see here, are actually down compared to 2021. And this is across the nation right now at about 5.6 million April 2022 is kind of what the prediction says. But you can see here, pre-pandemic, still above the pre-pandemic sales. Again, 2020 and 2021 were very interesting years. huge demand, very low inventory, and yet things were flying off the shelf during that time. And you can see here kind of more normalizing back to what it was pre-pandemic signs. But again, when you're going really fast and you slow down just a little bit, it can feel like a big, 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 big difference. So here's our local market stats here, right in our Lehigh Valley. You see here, percent of list price received. As you can see, 104.4% of asking price. This was our stats from last May of 2022. You can see here, this is a record. Home prices are up. People are getting multiple offers. People are still going way above asking price. You can see here, this is the average. You can see the spike there, 104.4%. That means if you list your house at $100,000, on average, you're going to get $104,000 to $105,000 for your property, depending on the market conditions. So this is an incredible stat to see that people are still getting multiple offers. I just had a meeting with my team on Tuesday and asking them for feedback of, hey, what's going on in that market? What are you seeing here? I mean, we're dealing with hundreds of transactions every single quarter. So yes, they are going to know. They're going to see everything that's happening in the market. All of them said, hey, buyers are still writing multiple offers, still getting beat out by some of the competition that's out there. Sellers are selling. They're getting multiple offers. Their houses are getting flying off the market still. Things are moving in this market. Average sales price up to $338,000, up over 18.5% from this time last year. So you can see really over the course of almost 2 years, almost a 40% increase of sales price over the last 2 years. Incredible, incredible stats here. This right now is one of the all-time highs of average sales prices in the Lehigh Valley. Days on market, uptick a little bit. You can see here, on average, about 16 days on the market for a home. You can see here, last year about 15 days. So this has really been around about the same of what it's been. But slight increase. You're starting to see a slight increase. I'm sure June's numbers are going to be about 17, 18 days on market. I would predict they are going to be up a little bit as this is turning. And then inventory of homes. You can see here, still low, still very, very, very low. 660 homes on average that are available right now. We've been hovering as low as the mid 400s, as high as 1,000. So this is right on pace to what it has been all year, really. So again, you can kind of see historically still at an all-time low, really coming off of 2005, 2006. You can see here, major inventory shortage still in this market that's here. So I always like to say, all right, Jonathan, all those stats are great. You're telling me the market's still good. The sellers are profiting even more. Multiple offers are happening. Average sales price is as high as it's ever been. But what's ahead? And believe me, none of us have a crystal ball, but all of the talk has really been about mortgage rates. It's all about mortgage rates right now. This is where you're seeing the biggest shift in today's real estate market right now, as there's huge volatility, inflation with the price of goods going up. Mortgage rates have risen. And I'm going to show you and break this down for you. So here is what they are as of today, as of 4 p.m. actually yesterday. I'm sorry, as of 4 p.m. yesterday, on average across the nation, about 5.88% on a 30-year fixed rate. You can still get some adjustable rate mortgages a little bit lower in the low fives. And you can see here FHA a little bit lower at 5.4% or on average. And then you can see here kind of what that looks like on an average loan, about $250,000, what the principal and interest payments would be. But I also want to give you guys perspective of what this looks like. Really of what has happened over the last decades. In the 70s, interest rates were about 8.86%. 80s, they jumped all the way up to 12.7%. 90s, they were 8.12%. 2000s, when I bought my first house, I actually remember it was like 6.7, 6.8 when I bought my first house. But on average in 2000s, it was 6.27. 2010s, when mortgage rates were literally at the all-time low. We were very, very spoiled. You saw rates climbing actually into the twos. But again, on average, they've been about 4%. And right now, as you saw in the current one, about 5.88, but on average in 2022, about a little over 5% on what that is. So you can still see on average, rates are still historically low when you really look at it, of what's going on in the current market itself. And what I did was, I just wanted to show you what a monthly payment breakdown was. So last year, rates were about at 3.86%, 4% hovering around. Again, depending on who you are, what your qualifications were, you could get into the twos. But on average, you can see here, when you really break it down, and these are Pennsylvania stacks, our property taxes are a little bit higher than other people in the country. But if you would put 5% down on a $300,000 home, you got $15,000 going down out of your down payment at a 3.86% interest rate, with your average property taxes, your PMI broken all out, your monthly payment was about $2,048. Well, in today's rates at 5.88%, with the exact same breakdown that I had on the previous slide, you're at $2,397. So again, from $2,048 to $2,397. So yes, would your payment be a little bit higher than it was last year? Yes. But if you remember from my previous market updates and what I've been talking about as well, is what have rent prices going up? 15, 18%, 40% in some markets that we've seen, but on average across the country, anywhere between 15 and 18%. Guess what, guys? That's about what this equates to in your monthly payment. So if you're paying $2,000 a month in your monthly payment and your rate goes up, or I'm sorry, your rent goes up 18%, guess what? You're going to be right around that $350 payment increase anyway. And guess what? None of that's going in your pocket. Your rental is not appreciating. You're not getting equity in your rental. You're getting equity as a homeowner, though. So what a lot of the chief economists are saying, this is right from the MBA side of it, mortgage rates are likely to plateau, and we have seen that. We've seen the big spike. We've seen the big spike in interest rates already, and we've seen this happen. And really, there's starting to be a plateau of it. And they expect that home buyers will be coming back in massive droves because they're going to re-enter the market. There's not going to be that volatility anymore. They're not going to ask that question of when's it going to stop? When's it going to stop? I got to jump in now. And so you're going to start to see that happen more and more and more as buyers get back in here, get more comfortable with what's going on in this market. And really, no expert that I've talked to or even seen here and read about really don't believe the market is in a bubble or a crash. Remember, during that Great Recession back in the mid-2000s, inventory of homes was through the roof. There was 5,000 plus homes available in our Lehigh Valley market here in Pennsylvania. And yet right now, as you saw in the stats, on average, 660 homes on the market. So there's a big shortage of homes, which always will keep the demand very, very high. And it's going to keep the prices going up. So yes, one of the things I saw here, is it a good time to buy? It really is. And especially when it improves your quality of life, the amount of equity that you get in your home. Yes, when you buy a home now, you might be paying a little bit more than you would have last year. But guess what? Those rates aren't coming back. Now is that time to buy. The rates they have plateaued. They're going to remain pretty solid. And guess what? As your equity improves over the next year or two, you will get more money in your pocket during that time. So that's my market update. I want to let you know about Don Winter Team, eXp Realty. Know all your options. We obviously sell the most entire amount of homes in the state of Pennsylvania. We actually just got an award this past month, in the month of June. We are now ranked the number 13 team in the country, number 1 in the state of Pennsylvania for over a decade now, 10 years in a row. And it's really because of all the solutions that we provide. We call it know all your options to sell your home. All this is backed by no risk, no contract guarantee. But all of this is really so you understand all the different options to buy and or sell your home. Go to our website, dwteam.com. We guarantee to find your next home. See what your price would go for, and also get a copy of our buyer and seller guide. Again, go to dwteam.com, hit sell, go to seller's guide, download it, and it really gives you a great insight of what is happening on this market, what you need to do to maximize the sale of your home. If you're a buyer entering this world and you're seeing the news and they're saying they're predicting a crash, it's not happening. I've shown you the stats of what that is. This is the real information getting to you guys. Go download our buyer's guide. Get more comfortable with the buying and selling process with these guides. And I'm going to be here for next month's market update. But again, I'm here to give you expert advice, not just paint a picture and try to sell a bunch of news ads or whatever the heck they make money off of. Really here to guide you guys and give you the most comfortable information to make it the most comfortable buying and selling experience for you. So go get your copy of your buyer and seller's guide. Take a screenshot of this, get your phone out, go to our website and download that buyer and seller guides. I want to give you guys the most expert advice possible. So make it a great day and I'll catch you guys next